Hello everyone, my name is Andres, and in celebration of this year's release of Avengers Infinity War, I am reviewing all previous MCU movies. This time I am reviewing Thor, The Dark World. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. This movie was released in late 2013, after Iron Man 3. Fun fact, this movie marked the third consecutive year we had a movie with Thor as a main character in it, and those movies being the original Thor in 2011, then the Avengers in 2012, and Thor: The Dark World in 2013. Kenneth Branagh didn't return to direct this movie, but instead Marvel opted for director Alan Taylor. Although I think the switch of directors isn't really noticeable, you can maybe notice the change if you take a good look at the story and dialogue. The first Thor was a bit more mystical, and that was also reflected in the way the characters spoke and the story played out. It was a bit more Shakespearean. Thor: The Dark World stars Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Anthony Hopkins as Odin, and Natalie Portman, all returning from the previous Thor movie. This movie is the worst rated MCU movie on Rotten Tomatoes, with only 66%. I strongly disagree with that. If you've watched my Iron Man 2 review, then you know I think Iron Man 2 should be the lowest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes, deserving less than 20%. But I'm not opening that box of demons again. I actually like this movie a bit more than the original Thor. I used to love it a lot more, but after a few rewatches I noticed it didn't resonate with me that well, and the whole movie is a bit forgettable. What did I like so much about this movie is, again, the return of Loki. The chemistry between Loki and Thor is nothing short of perfect. They play off each other so damn well, and you just love seeing those two on screen together. This movie was released after Iron Man 3, so like I said in my Iron Man 3 review, from that movie onwards, a lot more humor was injected into the MCU movies. This movie is no exception, and I think it's for the better. Taking these strange and mythological creatures less seriously, I think that's the way to handle it. And it also fixed an issue I had with the original Thor, that it was all fun and jokes on Earth, but then all the drama and seriousness was on Asgard. At least in Thor: The Dark World, the tone is pretty consistent. Lastly, I think the action was also improved upon. Regarding the previous Thor movie, the final standoff between Thor and the villain Malekith was very cool to see. And we now got to see Thor being Thor throughout the whole movie, instead of having Thor stripped from his powers for like half the movie. Now, let's talk about the bad. I have one name: Malekith. This villain is as bad as people say he is. He is so dull and has zero personality. He really is just a big baddie that Thor has to defeat. That's all. There's nothing more to him. If you recall my Iron Man 2 review / rant, I said that Whiplash was the worst MCU villain by far. I may have overreacted because of the crap fest that is Iron Man 2. Whiplash is still a bad villain, don't get me wrong, but at least that movie tried to build some character around him. With Malekith, the movie doesn't even try to give him some character. I used to think Ronan the Accuser of Guardians of the Galaxy was the worst villain because he was just Thanos' bitch, bitching about that he is his bitch. But I think that could have been on purpose to make him funnier because the characters around him don't take him seriously, and you were supposed to laugh at the loser status of the villain too. Although I have to admit, Marvel kind of failed trying to do that. But more on Ronan the Accuser in my Guardians of the Galaxy review. It's definitely possible that after watching Guardians of the Galaxy again, that I think Ronan the Accuser is the worst villain, MCU villain again. But let's get back to Malekith for now. I think Malekith is the worst MCU villain so far because he's just an empty shell of a villain. Another thing I thought wasn't that good was the story. The story was serviceable, but it was also a bit forgettable. Now, time to give this movie a rating. My ratings, ranked from worst to best, are as follows. Shit, bad, meh, good, and awesome. I give Thor: The Dark World a good. I think it's a definite improvement over the first Thor, but it's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. The movie's just good and nothing more. Putting out 2 okay Thor movies didn't really help to make Thor, the character Thor, super likable. Consequently, he kind of remained an okay character until the release of Thor Ragnarok in 2017, which really boosted his image. See you next time, where I will be reviewing Captain America: The Winter Soldier.